Well, Judy, Ed Burke was not only one of the most powerful aldermen in the city of Chicago, he was also the longest serving, 54 years in city council. The amount of influence and clout he had was certainly rememberable. And again, as you just mentioned, he was sentenced to 2 years and $2 million, much less than the federal prosecutors wanted. They wanted 10 years. Earlier in the day, Judge Virginia Kendall agreed to sentencing guidelines of 6 to 8 years, but of course those were not mandatory, and she ended up giving him 2 years. Obviously, she was very impressed with what the defense presented, which was over 200 letters of support for Ed Burke, including from a former U.S. attorney, a former judge, two former police chiefs, and countless others who talked about all the acts of kindness that Ed Burke had done over the years. Matter of fact, his attorney said Ed is a priest without a collar because he has done so many things that are priestly in nature. And obviously, Judge Virginia Kendall took that into account when she gave him 2 years. Joining me right now is my colleague, political reporter Craig Wall, who was in the courtroom when the sentence was handed down.
Yeah, it was very interesting to watch Ed Burke, because Ed Burke really kept a stoic face, as he has much throughout this trial. The real emotion was his wife, Ann, who was sitting behind him. You could see she was welling up in tears, fighting back those tears. And after court was ended, she walked up to him and gave him a big hug. They hugged one another. She kissed him on the cheek. It was a very poignant moment, and you could tell this is obviously going to be maybe even harder on her than it will be on Ed Burke.
Oh, there's no doubt. Matter of fact, I think in the entire process, it's been harder on her, and there's been nobody more loyal to him than her. She has been here every single day, sitting behind her, and obviously sitting behind him. And obviously, since she's a former judge herself, she was paying very close attention to every single detail and argument in this case. Now, as you mentioned before, in terms of prison time and where he's going to serve, what did you find out about that?
Well, the defense has requested, and I gather from the way the judge reacted, that she's likely to do that, although I think it's up to the Federal Bureau of Prisons to determine.
Yes.
But they had requested FCI Oxford Prison Camp up north of the Dells in Wisconsin. He has until September 23rd to report, so he will at least have this summer. The judge also granted him the right to continue visiting a house he has up in Wisconsin, which is part of his release on bond. The prosecutors had wanted that to be taken away, or the judge was going to do that. So he will have the freedom for the rest of the summer until September before he will have to report. But obviously a lot to think about for him over the next couple of months.
Sure, a lot to think about. And while prosecutors were asking for 10 years, his attorneys were asking for probation. So they really were asking for no jail time. They were really concerned about his health, concerned about his age. They feel as though any time in prison is certainly going to be detrimental to his health, something that the judge didn't necessarily take into account his health as much as probably maybe his age.
Yeah, the health did not seem to be that much of a factor. Obviously, the overwhelming factor for the judge was all the good things that were reported that you mentioned earlier. His age, obviously, she had to have been factoring that into some degree, because, as the defense had mentioned, if he got a long prison sentence, it would in effect be a death sentence for Ed Burke. And of course, that was obviously something that she wasn't going to go with this 2 years.
She was also taken back by the fact that he is a human being, because he has 4 adopted children, including his youngest, Travis, who Ann and Ed Burke adopted in their 50s. She was definitely moved by, I think, a lot of these type of factors that the defense brought into this.
Yeah, and as she mentioned during the course of this, she said never in her career has she seen so many letters and so much support, as you alluded to earlier, come in for a defendant. Never. And she's been on the bench for quite some time. It was interesting. We weren't sure whether Ed Burke was actually going to get up and make a statement, but he did go up there. He told the judge, the blame for this is mine and mine alone. I regret the pain and the sorrow that I've caused my family and dear friends. He asked for compassion and mercy from the judge, and then said, whatever time God has given me, I'd like to spend as much time as possible with my dear wife and children.
A quick statement, but no remorse, because obviously they are going to appeal this case. That's it. Back to you guys.
Yeah, that's about as close to an apology as you got from former Alderman Ed Burke today in court. You wondered, both of you, if we ever hear from him. He has not spoken about this case, and now that the verdict, or I should say the sentencing, has been released, maybe we hear from the former alderman. Sarah and Craig, thank you. Go ahead, Sarah. Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, we do know that he is still upstairs with his family and his lawyers, so, you know, probably going to be coming down soon.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'd love to hear from him, but I would not be surprised if he just walks out and doesn't say anything.
Well, he knows both of you well because you've covered politics in this city for many decades, so maybe wave him on over. We'll see if we can get a response from the former alderman.
We certainly will be on standby for that. All right, Craig Wall and Sarah Schulte, thank you so much.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago Eyewitness News.